All right, welcome back to the channel again, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all so much for coming over. Now, look, uh, R. Kelly attorney is speaking out, and she said Diddy could drop big names in his trial. This is huge. This is what I've been talking about. I was like, is he going to name other names to possibly get a lower sentence or just whatever the case may be? We gonna check this out. I just want to hear what she has to say. Again, appreciate all the love and support with you guys coming over. I did also hear that he was denied. He was trying to extend the trial, but they saying it's going to be set for May 5th. That's what the judge said. So yeah, we ain't gonna waste no more time. Let's jump right into it.
When R. Kelly was first he was charged state-wise. People start to leave, right? The same people you depended on now, they're slowly going away.
Mm.
And I suppose in any matter, people want to get away from danger, right? It's a human instinct. However, what happens to individuals like Diddy or R. Kelly, who are used to having these people friends, bodyguards, whoever it is around them 24/7, they have extended themselves for them. And then you get charged with something and they flee. It is such a dehumanizing feeling. I know that that's how R. Kelly felt. I personally, one of the things I was responsible for was talking to some of his prior boys, for lack of a better word. Some people weren't answering their phones. People weren't. It is crazy. And I get it in the one hand, right? Nobody wants to associate themselves with someone who's being charged with a crime like this.
Right.
However, if you are there and you know that these facts did not go down the way this person is saying they went down and you're running, it says a lot. And everyone ditched R. Kelly. Okay. Now, there's a huge difference, though, between R. Kelly's fans and friends and Diddy's fans and friends. R. Kelly kept his grassroots friends, people that he had worked for him. It wasn't celebrities. He didn't branch out and do things because his gift, for lack of better words, was singing. Where P. Diddy surrounded himself always with the best of the best, the actors who are the best actors,
That's facts.
the elite. Just, I don't even have to go into all the people that he's named.
Right,
And
right.
there is a video on YouTube and it's on every social media where Diddy names off all these people. Okay. And at the time, which was prior to his arrest, I'm not sure that the world really knew what that was about, right? At the end of it, he says something to the effect of, all these people knew they had a responsibility to me to call me and take my calls back in around Easter, he claims, because and that was posted around that time, 6 months about before he got arrested. If I'm going down, y'all going down with me.
Here we go.
What that is, and I've talked about this with R. Kelly, okay? He is saying, listen, guys, none of y'all are calling me back. None of y'all are listening. None of y'all want to talk to me now. Well, guess what? I'm going down and that's fine, but you're going to go down with me.
I said that so
and
many
it's
times.
just so it's fascinating to watch it, not know what it is, and then all of a sudden we can kind of put the pieces together. So originally, I would say to you, I wouldn't think that Diddy would snitch. The old saying, snitches end up in ditches, right? And it's not looked at as a cool thing. However, after speaking to a number of people in the game, for lack of better words. Um, when you when you're a music mogul, right, and you, lack of better words, snitch, okay, it's not the same as when the gangsters were snitching.
Right,
Okay,
right.
gangsters snitched, and that person ends up dead. That's how it works. But these are worlds of not gangsters with R. Kelly or with P. Diddy. These are a lot of them are sophisticated individuals.
They're not looked at
So
as
if he
tough.
flips, it's not like there's going to be a hit out on him. So it's just a very different world. And I would say that it is very possible when Diddy recognizes that they have as much information as they do, which he's not going to even know it all for quite some time. He may be trying to figure out, hey, I give you this info. What's that going to do for me? And I
I
wouldn't be surprised if those types of negotiations occur and continue because Robert was, king of pop, or, he had such a influence on so many people in all ranges of ages. Okay. Every TV, was focused on this, every TV station, every radio station, it was really crazy. Social media, right? What I believe is that all of that paved the road. So now we've got Diddy. Now Diddy is going to go into that exact same type of formation, i.e., the charge of RICO. But Diddy's now got big names coming along with him. So just like Epstein, if you recall, that case had very, very big names as well. We didn't get too deep into that one because obviously we couldn't because he was no longer around. So that just
right,
closed that up.
right.
But with Diddy, I mean, these people that are also named, I anticipate that every single one of them has been talked to by the feds. Now, whether or not they're doing anything with that, I mean, they don't need them. They don't, to take Diddy down, they don't need any superstars. But obviously, they're trying to dot all their I's and cross all their T's to make sure that what they're claiming is real, even though I can tell you that whatever you see in the media or you see in the news or whatever, a lot of it isn't true. And I can
Mm.
tell you that because I was obviously on the inside with R. Kelly's case, and I would just sit there half the time and be like laughing because it's just so not true. So I appreciate that I'm able to talk here, about the reality of, unfortunately, what our world is seeing and what's going on.
Inside
P. Diddy
information.
does not know what he was about to get into. In other words, R. Kelly, who I represent, he went through the same situation. He was in Brooklyn prison. He had experienced those prison guards. He was in the, as they like to call it, the special housing unit, which is nothing like we in the public would think the special housing unit is. So these individuals go from, having everything literally at their fingertips
Yes.
to begging to make a phone call to their lawyer, to begging to have some type of food that's edible. I mean, it's real. The special housing unit is the shoe. It's isolation. So Robert went through it as well, R. Kelly, and I am confident that P. Diddy is going through that as well. And it just messes with your mind. P. Diddy is charged with RICO. Okay. What is that? Well, basically, what it means is he is the head of an enterprise. And this is how they're going to start getting everybody else who is similarly situated in this type of, like I said, this kind of architecture, right? They're going to just plug people in. So the charges are pretty much exactly the same. Some of the allegations are a little different. Initially, everyone was thinking that Diddy's cases only had to do with adults. So that's a big, significant difference, which we all know now that there's lawyers who have come out representing alleged victims who were as young as 9 years old. Okay. So the allegations, and listen, in Robert's case, what the one I did in New York, it had no kids at all. But everybody just automatically links that in their head when they hear that, oh, they're being charged with what? So let me get back. The RICO charge has P. Diddy up here, which is exactly where R. Kelly was, right? They're the head of what we call this enterprise. Everyone underneath them, i.e., security, um, housekeepers,
Limo drivers.
buddies of his, anyone on the payroll, they're here. They make up the conglomerate of Diddy's enterprise, right? I.e., the allegation is they allowed for things to happen for the benefit of the head person, i.e., R. Kelly or Diddy, right? And then from there's got to be an underlying predicate felony. There's got to be something that they can attach R. Kelly to or P. Diddy to. And in Diddy's case, they've got a couple felonies listed, including like arson, things that you wouldn't expect to be part of an enterprise, but they need to have that. So they must have connected one of those crimes to New York. And that's how he is now in New York in the federal court, just like Robert was. They connected something to New York. And coincidentally, they both ended up in the same place. I say this all the time, like they should talk to us who went through this before. We walked these steps before. There's so much, it's almost impossible to get everything together in an appropriate way and a timing that's necessary to prepare. We were coming into court within weeks, just before, even before the trial started, getting hundreds, if not thousands, of pages of discovery. Do you know how impossible that they just pile it on? So I would tell them, and I am sure they're anticipating this, but they can't possibly fathom what the government has, because the government in a federal case doesn't have to tell them until they put the witness up on the stand. Literally, they could hand over the discovery, which is like the police reports or videos or whatever, at that very moment. Now, fortunately, I think we might have got them in the morning, okay? But who the heck has got time to do all the proper research in the morning? So I would tell them that there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes and that it would be imperative, just like anyone else would do, if someone was similarly situated, I would talk to them to try and figure out how the heck do we fight this somewhat unknown battle. Definitely gives us a huge disadvantage when we're all supposed to be working under the same fundamental values, right? Innocent until proven guilty. I with my whole heart, unfortunately, I feel as though it certainly has become you are guilty until proven innocent. And that rule, that federal rule, does not help that statement.
You know, I said before, I find it to be, I mean, I feel like it's going to be very, very difficult for him to get out of this, which means like if he does, something drastic happened. But yeah, I said before, he's probably going to start naming names. Right now, they were trying to throw everything at the wall to see what sticks, to, you know, all the bells he tried to post, all that stuff. So what she's saying is they're basically probably going to throw the book at him. They're probably going to throw the book at him to either protect names. Again, I keep saying this stuff is alleged. This is alleged. It's alleged because we don't really know the truth. But and we're talking about consensual versus non-consensual at the end of the day. And it's a lot of stuff that he's being charged for, accused of. So The fact that it's not a lot of people speaking on his behalf says a lot. Because I feel like at some point in the conversation of them speaking on his behalf, they may be incriminating themselves. But comment below what you guys think about this. That was some good insight right there. All right. Peace out.